Hi everybody, this is Terry from Sweet Pea Papers, the Sweet Pea Papers Facebook group, Junk Journal Tutorials and More Facebook group, and Junk Journal and Papercrafts Facebook group. Plus, don't forget the Sweet Pea Papers coffee shop, and it's ko-fi.com/Sweet Pea Papers. You can buy my journals there. You can become a member and get free tutorials or craft along videos there that you don't get for free in the channel, Sweet Pea Papers channel. And you can, with the silver and gold membership, you can also get a discount in the shop, even on the junk journals as well. Okay. You also get Ask Me Anything time with the gold level membership, and that's one-on-one time, video chat with me where you can ask me anything. Well, as long as it's not personal, like how old I am and stuff like that. Okay, so when we left off in video 4, we had completed the back page of the journal. I still haven't made the cards out of these papers. And look, these are the only scraps that we have left over after making this journal. Isn't that amazing? So now we're going to finish working on the cover and hopefully finish our project. Now, as you can see, I've got the scraps from when I messed up the pull down page. So I've got the original pull down page scrap, and then the second one because I had to print it again, so they're identical. So what I thought we would do this time is put some long pockets on the insides of the cover. Okay, so we're going to set these two to the side, and I'm going to label these. I'll label these left, and I had them laid out so that the pattern went the way I wanted. So that's why I'm labeling the top, and this is the right. And that way I put the pockets on the right side, or the correct side. Better set that one way over there. That one way over there. Now, remember I told you that we were all done with the cover itself, except for this piece that goes in the center. I've already cut it to the same size as these pieces so that when I put them on, they'll all be the same. Okay, then I've also inked the top and the bottom because it's going to show. You guys got that? So all we have to do is glue this down in the center, just like we do with every cover. This one needs to be glued all the way, not just the corners like I normally do, and the edges, because you know that paper's not really going anywhere. So we are going to do this so I can move it around in case I need to. Then, so that it doesn't round up when we close it, we're going to go ahead and glue the center as well, which I don't normally do, but I do on this particular piece every single time. So we're going to put this on, and again we're going to put this, up. We're going to center it up and down, and we're going to center it left and right. So we're going to center it left and right, and then we're going to center it up and down. Yeah, that looks about right. Could go over this way just a smidge. Well, that's all right. And then press this down and make sure it sticks really well in the center. You can even get your bone folder out. Make sure your dirty side isn't facing down. Oh, I got dirty on both sides, don't I? The heck? The heck is that, and why won't it come off? Okay, we got clean back here. So we can do this. Make sure that everything is stuck down. Then we're going to take our clean side at this end and we're going to run it along this where it folds, okay? So we're going to go like this. Whoops, no we're not. I'm going to go right along like this. So that it knows that we know where it's supposed to fold when we close the cover. Okay, let's test it and see, make sure that doesn't bubble up in the center. Nope, we're all good. See, it's all flat. Looks like we could use some glue right here. Just kind of funny considering how much glue I put in the corners. A teeny bit coming out now. It's all right. What's that corner doing? Wow, look at that. I mean, the paper's going to cover that, but still, I want it to all be down flat. Look at that. That's pretty unbelievable. At 3 of the 4 corners, when I put all that glue there, pulled back that far. Huh. Okay, so at this point it does not matter which is the front cover and which is the back. Once we start putting stuff on though, it is going to make a difference. So let's decide that this is going to be our front cover. Let's mark it with an F for front. And that means the other one is the back cover, so we don't need to label it. But we want to make sure this is the front cover marked and that's the top, so that when we start putting papers on, that we've got everything the same direction, since we're going to have those pockets with the patterns. Or the pictures on the inside, we want them to match the direction of whatever it is we put on the cover. Okay, so now let's set this aside for a second too. Let's do these 2 pockets. So we want them to be, I want to see the envelope and I want to see the part of the desk. So let's put it from the bottom to the top. I wanted to bring this in just a little bit so I could see where the top is. We're going to cut it off. You know, we should just, they're both the same, so we should cut them off the same, shouldn't we? I think we should. That way they're exactly the same. So it goes on this side. Oh, it doesn't matter because they're the same. All right, so we'll need to ink these. I've already inked the backing papers or the background papers. So we need to ink this on all 4 sides. Goodness. Okay, there's that one. Let's ink this one. Then as pockets, we'll glue them on the opposite way so that they both face inward. I want the pockets to face outwards. Okay. So on this one, we'll put over here. This one we don't want to glue this side, so we'll put our fingers on it. We want to make this right up against the edge, sort of match up this corner. I'm going to match up this corner. Okay. And while we've got it, and we know which way it goes, let's go ahead and put it in here. And that will be fun to have something different, you know what I mean, on the inside. Let's make sure we get those corners, huh? That was embarrassing. It was. Put all that glue in the corner and didn't get the corner. Who knew? Who knew? Well, I'm almost at the end of my Vampire Diaries again. This will be the 4th time I've watched it. There's 160 videos in the series. I think I'm a champion now. Yeah. So now we're going to line this up top and bottom, and then we're going to move it in and out till we want to get it to the spot that we want it. I think I want it about there. And glue it in. And have this nice pocket here. We could have put the pockets here facing outwards. That might have been better. Oh well. Okay, so this has been inked, but we do need to glue it. We do not want to glue this side on this one. Make that a little narrower than I meant to. Now how can that one be a little short? I cut them exactly the same. I'm so not happy with that. I don't know how. They were lined up exactly. So I double checked. It's easy for the bottom. I got there a paper cut. It's easy for the bottom to the bottom paper to slide. But it didn't. They stayed together. I mean, you know when it slides. Let's make sure to get that corner. For a minute there, I thought I had it upside down. Well, mess with the glue. I might be able to roll most of it up. Just come by with my glue eraser. Last little bit. Glue eraser is $2 or $3 on Amazon, and it's hard and it's all bumpy, and it rolls up that glue for you. When you have any glue sticking out, like that right there, I can just pick that up. And there's a little bit around the corner here, so we'll get all that all at once. So now our inside cover is done. I like it. You guys like it? I like it. So let's put, oh, I didn't set anything aside for the spine. Yes, I did. Okay. So now we're going to do the front and the back covers. We won't need this because we've already done the inside. We're going to use this for the spine. I'm not sure how wide it is, but yeah, see, we'll just put the polka dots and a little bit of blue on either side on there. And we'll wait till we put the front cover on. We'll do that first. Yeah, that bubbling up a little right at the bend, but we don't ever use the book like this anyway, except for right now. I've got some craft paper out so that we can use it. And I also, let me grab it, want to use a couple pages of lightweight cardstock. Sorry about that. I should have grabbed it ahead of time. So now we're going to set these two to the side and the spine. And we're going to take the cardstock, we're going to measure it to the edges on the front cover. Since this is 8.5 by 11, we can make it go right up to the edges. So we'll leave a little space there and a little space here. Let's measure this. Make sure we did it correctly. Looks a little narrow. Look at that. Yeah, it's too narrow for what we want. Try that again. It was because of this little bubbled up area. Okay, so we want like that. We want like this. That looks a little big, but I'd rather have it big and trim it down by a 1/16. That also means I'm going to have to get another piece of craft paper to do the back. But we're going to do the back exactly the same as the front, so we may not do the back on camera. Once you see me do it on the front, then you'll know how to do the back. So we're going to take the craft paper that is now too big. Maybe not. No, it's not. It's just the right size. Okay, we're going to ink the craft paper so we don't forget. We're going to glue the craft paper to the cover, but the other two images, you know, that's what I could do. What if I put this in between this and why Why isn't this trimmed? All right. Oh, because it isn't big enough. I'd have to print out one more. That's all right. We're not going to do the back on camera. I think that would work. I'm going to put this on. That's the back cover, so the front cover is trimmed. So that's good. That's pretty. I just want to make sure it's going to fit. Well, it doesn't matter, but I think it would look pretty. Then we'll cut this in half. Oh yeah, we'll have plenty of space to see that. Okay. So let's not glue it down quite yet. Let's cut this one down just a little bit. Bring it over to the side. And we want to make sure the brown is showing, otherwise why did we bother putting it on there, right? We'll cut this like this. Which is a little bit smaller than that. Yeah, it's better to get all this done before we glue anything to the cover. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to ink this one. Did I ink this one or did I just get the ink out? I think I got sidetracked. I think I inked the whole thing. Pretty sure I inked this, but I'm going to do it again. Just to make sure. Won't hurt anything. Okay, and we're going to ink this one. And before we put this one on, we're going to cut a piece of that chipboard. It's about the thickness of a cereal box, that lightweight, so it's not very thick. But it will lift this off just a little bit to give it a little bit of dimension. Then when we put the image itself on, we're going to do the same thing with that one. We're going to put chipboard behind it as well. Okay, so we're going to get a piece of the chipboard out. We're going to measure this the same, and then we're going to cut it just inside so they don't stick out, or so you don't see it. So we're going to make it just the same size, or we're going to mark it just the same size. But we're going to cut just a little bit inside, about a 1/16. Let's see. There's sliding going on here, which is ridiculous. see how bad that was. Because it's underneath, so if it's crooked, it doesn't matter. As long as it's not going to show. I think it's a little too big still. We'll glue this to this. Of course, we do not need to ink it. It's not going to be seen. All of a sudden, for some reason, the Fabri-Tac is bothering my eyes. It didn't all the way up until now. Of course, I am a little tired. And a little hungry at 6 o'clock in the morning. I've been up on and off since about 10:30 last night. I did get about an hour's sleep. Was watching some training videos on System.io, the E on the end of system, because it's from, I think, France. It's the country that this software or system, online system, starts from. And if you're going to have your own website, it's great because you pay them, but you get your autoresponder. And if you know what I'm talking about, if you're going to have a website, you'll know what I'm talking about. But you'll have your autoresponder and your funnels and your newsletters and courses and everything all in the same place. Now, this one we can put the pattern the right way, but it doesn't matter because the way the pattern goes, it looks like on the top half of the page it faces up, and on this bottom corner it faces down, so it doesn't matter. Plus we're going to cover it, so we can put it on there any old way we want. I'm going to put it on there with the part where it's mostly up, facing up. Remember when I told you want to start with a full bottle of glue? Yeah. Now, if we had used lace in the journal or something like that, we could have put lace around the edge below, you know, on the underside of this, so it would stick out. You don't really want the glue to be on the top paper because you don't want the edge to get stuck down. You want it to kind of stand out. So we're going to put this on here with the chipboard. And we're going to move it around till we have it where we want it. Alright, so now that stands up a little bit. And we need to measure our front cover. It's going to be a little bit more than half, I think. That's why we didn't cut it ahead of time. or maybe a little bit less since we're doing the double border. So we want to cut it here. Right, and we don't want to cut the height at all. I'm like, where do we cut the height? Are these the same size? They are pretty much. I could almost use this as the back cover. No, look how much smaller it is. Probably make one of the cards out of it. Okay, now we want to ink it. It's going to be pretty cool. And again, we could have used lace under this if we had used lace or something in the book. Kind of made it plain for it being a junk journaler. But I'm still recovering from my surgery. My elbow is still bothering me, and it's been, well, since December 6th. It's still swollen, and that's how I ended up in the hospital. That's why we're a little bit behind on videos. They gave me an antibiotic that put me in the hospital. I was allergic to it. And, yeah. So that took 4 days, 5 days out of our crafting schedule. Then frankly, I had a couple of days or more that I just didn't want to do it. I'm going to do the same with the chipboard. So I didn't. You might have noticed, this is February, you might have noticed the new video schedule by now. It's just Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Oops. So we're going to measure this even with it. And then cut it inside. That's not straight at all. We'll cut a little bit inside that. Oh, I think I cut it along the line on the side. I'm going to trim a little bit off. Yeah, that's fine. Glue this on here. And then we'll glue that on there, and then we'll glue it on the cover. Ta-da! Now we'll do the same thing for the back to give it dimension as well. So we'll have all those layers on the back. And I'll trim that paper before I cut it. How goofy is that? Then that'll give me 2 cards. One from the other smaller half of the front and one from the smaller half of the back. Oh, we do need to do the spine and the holes. I almost made that too tall. Almost. I'll put this on here. I'll see, that's going to be nice. Look at that. I'm going to put the layers on the spine, but I'm not going to put the chipboard because I don't want to have to punch the holes through all the chipboard. So now we'll put this on the front cover. Normally I do the spine and punch the holes before I glue on the covers, just to make sure. I think I'll do that. I think I'll set that front cover up there. Let's do the spine. Boy, that looks bad, doesn't it, when it's laid out flat? I'm just going to do this in the spine. I'm going to cut it here. And cut it here. And I want it to be even with that backing, the brown craft paper backing. Just doesn't look straight. there's a lot more blue on this side than on the other side. Yeah, that needs to be trimmed down, unfortunately. That fits in there. Let's double check. Some of these have a yellow label on them and some of them have a red. I was showing my friend my ink storage system because I have my oxides in one thing. I have my in a display, you know, like a rack that holds them, and I just bought another one for these extra ones. And she said, she knows me, and she said, is there any reason that some of them are labeled in red and some of them in yellow? She figured my OCD had kicked in. And I said, no. I said I just ran out of the little sticky and I had to put a new cartridge in, and the new cartridge was a different color. No rhyme or reason to it. It was kind of funny. It was like, is there any particular reason? The only thing I don't have separated into my oxides and my inks is my main browns, because they're all just sitting right here in the corner. You can almost see them. They're right here, but they're in a stack, all my browns and my the black. Which isn't a complete and total black, believe it or not. It's a little, oh goodness. And I do all of this one for the same reason, so that it doesn't bump out. Now, is there an up or a down to this one, to the blue? No, except I think I want the wider blue to the back. For no particular reason, other than I do not like this bumped up edge. Okay, and I inked it too much. It's too brown, I think. Let's see. Yep, that'll be just fine. Okay, let's make the holes. So we're going to flip this back over. Okay, and we're going to take our pencil. Now this is 1 1/4, so 5/8 is the center. We've only got one small signature. So 1, 2, 5. That's not right. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 3/4. That's too far. Because 3/4 and 3/4 is a half. It's gotta be 5/8. Then to make sure it's in a straight line, the easiest way to do it is just to use a T-square, line it up with the dot, come straight down. Well, hi, Oz. Make this dot here. That should be straight, or fairly close to straight. We'll get our crocodile, a great big one. We're going to put it on the smaller hole. We're just going to run the elastic with no eyelets. Run this here. I'm going to run a little bit closer to the edge, so we have a little bit more room with the elastic. Get the white elastic. Now we haven't glued the cover on. Make sure the holes are okay. Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, they're straight or they're not. I think they're not. We'll see. I'm going to put it in through the back at the top. I'm going to bring it down to the center. Just wrap it around the bottom to get an idea of where to cut it. That way you don't cut it ahead of time, end up with a bunch extra. We're going to end up with some extra anyway. I should pull it tight to cut it, but that's okay. Now I'll put it through the bottom hole. I'll get through there. We're just going to tie it. I'm going to pull it tight. I do this instead of sewing because A, it's easier, and B, I can't really sew through the cardboard anymore. Hopefully the surgery will help with my hand strength and my right hand. We'll see. It could take up to a year, you know, for nerves to repair and all that good stuff. I'm not doing so good right now, am I? All you gotta do is tie a knot, for goodness sake. It could be a little bit tighter. Okay, so that looks fine. It looks straight on the outside. So we can go ahead and glue the front on. Then we'll make the back off camera and I'll glue that on. And then you'll see it on the flip through. And then we'll be right at an hour. Took us a little longer because of the layering here, but I wanted to show you how to make the dimension since we weren't going to have any other real decoration on the front. I may look through those big giant words and see if there's something, but I've got Once Upon a Time here, and I've got this blue that looks like lace, so I may just leave it. We didn't put lace on the inside. Decided to do it straight on these other 3 sides to make it easier to make sure I don't go off the edge. Okay. Well, that looks nice. Got all the layers on that and how it's got the dimension. You can see on the sides, oops, you can see on the sides where it's got the thickness. And you can tell by looking at the front, whoops, get that glue out of the way. You can tell by looking at the front, which way am I going here, that it's not flat. You probably can't tell on camera, but when you're looking at the book, you can tell definitely that it's not flat. So we'll do the same thing on the back, and we will put the inside of our book in. All you need to do is open it to the center, and then just slide it in. Wait a minute, I like to pull it so that the knot is at the top and not the center. That way you don't have that big lump in the middle. And then of course you trim these little pieces off. So you just put it under there and you slide it in. And then your book is put together. And then you're good to go. Now it'll go down. It just has to be left this way for a little while. Sometimes they'll set another book on top of it, but you can see it's already pushed down just by me folding on it. And that will push it down. So that's what it will look like. Okay? And then we'll just put the back on. I'll take the insides out, lay it out flat like I did before with the front, and then do the back. And then I'll show you in the flip through, and I'll show you all the cards too. Okay? Alright, well thank you for spending the last hour with me, and thank you for making this journal with me. And I will see you on the day after tomorrow, unless today is Friday, then it'll be Monday. But I'll see you the day after tomorrow with the flip through. Okay? Alright, I'll see you then.